What's up guys, welcome to Game Time and I'm Grant Burton. Today I'm going to do something a little bit more fun. I've got 50 video game questions to ask your friends. It's supposed to be fun, little fast paced things. 50 questions overall, you can get them at levelskip.com if you're interested. I'm going to answer these off the top of my head as fast as I possibly can. So let's get straight into it. What's your favourite video game of all time? So usually I have three choices here. Either Metal Gear Solid, Mass Effect 2, or The Witcher 3. If I had to pick one though, it's tough because Witcher 3 is a really long game. I like it a lot, but I've only ever played it once because of how long it is. So if I had to narrow that down, I think I'd get rid of that. And then Metal Gear Solid and Mass Effect 2, I've played them multiple times. I would probably say Mass Effect 2 just edges it out, simply because there's a bit more going on in that game compared to Metal Gear Solid. But yeah, Mass Effect 2, favourite game of all time I suppose. Question 2. What's a game you thought you'd like but actually hated? I don't hate too many games, and chances are if there's a game that I don't like, I usually go into it knowing that I'm probably not going to like it. So one of the recent examples was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I wouldn't go as far as say I hated it, but I had such high expectations for that game, it didn't live up to the hype. That being said, I have recently started to go back and play that game a bit more, and I'm liking it a lot more now. So yeah, it's one of them things where I could play a game one day and just not dig it, and then give it a little while, get back into it, and like it a bit more. So yeah, I don't think there's a game off the top of my head that I really anticipated, thought I would like, and hated. At least not to that extent. Question 3. What's a really popular game everyone seems to love but you don't like? Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Plain and simple. I've never been a Zelda fan, I just can't get into that series for whatever reason. I played about 10-15 hours of Breath of the Wild, something like that, and yeah, I just don't get it. The open world's empty, the combat and the controls isn't good, the story's bare basic. I'll give it this, the open world, despite being empty, the good art style does make it gorgeous, so there's that, but yeah, I don't like it as much as everyone else. Question 4. What's a game you didn't expect to enjoy but ended up liking? In recent memory, probably Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds, I put it on for the first time, and I was like, yeah, played about an hour of it. I got the gist of what this game is, I thought, and I put it down. It's like, yeah, I get that, but it's not for me. And then I started to hear what everyone else was thinking about it, how it was like possibly a game of the year, one of the greatest games ever made, perhaps, maybe not going that far. So then I tried it again, and a bit like Assassin's Creed Odyssey earlier, it clicked, I got it, and I started to really like it a lot. So yeah, probably Outer Wilds in recent memories. What game have you spent the most amount of hours on? Right, so Witcher 3, I've played every single mission in the Witcher 3's main campaign, plus the 2 DLCs, which are essentially different games with the amount of content that's in there. So that has to be up there. I also want to give a shout out to Hitman, the 2016 reboot of Hitman. Was it 2016? Anyway, the reboot of Hitman. I played a lot of that when it came out. It was episodic, so I was putting in like 2 weeks worth of gameplay with each episode that released. I was diving into it, getting all the secrets and going in, finding all the nooks and crannies and so on. And yeah, I put a lot of hours into that. So yeah, but it's probably Witcher 3. Of course, if I want to go into games that I've played multiple times, then it could end up being something like Mass Effect 2. I've played that like 4 or 5 times, and it'll all add up. So yeah. If you had to marry the last video game character you played, who would it be? So the most recent game I'm playing is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've just gotten back into that. So it would end up being Cassandra. Yeah, not sure if she'd make a good wife. If you had to live in the world of the last game you played, what would it be? Again, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so you're talking ancient Greece. Very sunny, very hot. I don't like the heat, so I wouldn't like living there. Have you ever had a crush on a video game character? Yep. What was the first game you ever remember playing? So my first console was the original PlayStation, and I missed out on the whole like NES, Nintendo side of things, and it might not have been the very first game I played, but Fighting Force was the one that I remember playing, and yeah, in retrospect, not a good game, but it was fun. Played it with my dad, I was just young at the time, and yeah. Fighting Force is the answer I'm going to give, but I'm not entirely sure if that was the first one I played, because I was young. Have you ever pretended to be sick to get out of something so you could play a game? Yeah. I don't have exact examples, but there were totally days where there was a big game releasing and I wanted to play that game, so I skipped school. What game did you last complete? So, the last game that I completed probably was... Outer Wilds, actually. Yeah. That was this year. Wait, no, it wasn't actually. Super Mario Maker 2, I completed the entire campaign of that, the story of that. And it's a good game. I recommend it. I haven't touched any of the creator stuff, which is kind of the main selling point of that game, but I did play the entire story and finished it. What game are you playing right now? Assassin's Creed Odyssey. What game do you want to play next? Right, so after Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Blair Witch is coming out on August 30th in a couple of weeks on Xbox Game Pass, so that'll be the next game I play. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be good, I don't know if I'm going to like it, but I'm definitely going to give it a go. In your opinion, what is the best game console? So I've had every game console since the release of the original PlayStation, with the exception of the Wii U and handheld consoles like the PSP and the PSP Go. Although I did have a PSP. So, the best game console, the Xbox 360 was really good, although it did have that problem with the Red Ring of Death, because the console kept burning out on me. I've had 3 Xbox 360s in my time, because the console just kept breaking. So, that, despite the fact the console itself was great, the fact that I'd done that goes right down in my books. So, the PS4, when it was first released, was the best, in my opinion. It's just a really good console. It was better than the Xbox One, but I think the Xbox One X really has something going for it. It is the most powerful console on the planet, so probably that. Although I do like the PS4 interface and the way it looks and feels and so on. So yeah, but I'd probably just give Xbox One X the edge, simply because it is the most powerful. Are PC gamers really superior to console players? On a technical level, yeah. They've got the better tech, they've got the better systems. If you have put a PC gamer against a console gamer in like Call of Duty, for example, or whatever, the PC gamer would win every time because the mouse and keyboard function just works more accurately and precisely. So yeah, they're superior, I hate to say it. What's your opinion on Fortnite? It's a good game. I do think it's going to fade away in a little while. I think in 2 years' time Fortnite's going to be a thing of the past, but we'll have to wait and see about that. It's not really my cup of tea. Have you ever watched a Twitch stream? Yes, I've watched quite a few. And I'm a big follower of Kinda Funny and Kinda Funny Games, so yeah. Have you ever streamed yourself on Twitch or YouTube? Yep. Have you ever used a walkthrough? Yeah. Every now and then I'll get stuck in the game and I'll briefly look up a walkthrough. They don't always help, but they're there. There's no shame in looking at through a walkthrough either, I don't think. If you are stuck, yeah, look for help. What's the best weapon you've ever used in a game? The best weapon... I don't know about the best, but one of the coolest was the torque bow in the Gears of War franchise. I really like how you've got to build that up, but you've only got a limited amount of time before it unleashes itself. Another one is there's a gun in the Chronicles of Riddick, the second game, Assault on Dark Athena, I think it's called. You get it towards the end of the game where you're kind of shooting out things and then you can activate it later and then it'll explode. Pretty cool. Not the best weapon though. I don't know what the best weapon is though. Those are two ones that I think are pretty cool, but yeah, the Lancer in Gears of War is cool because of course you can use it as a chainsaw as well. So probably that. If I had to pick something just off the top of my head, it's that. But if I really thought about it, then probably others. Have you ever had to stop playing a game because it was too scary? When I was younger, yes, there was a game, Resident Evil Outbreak. Good game. Although in the UK they didn't have the multiplayer aspect of it, which was the big selling point of it. Why I didn't have that, I don't know. But yeah, I was a little young to be playing that. And yeah, it was scary. Has a game's storyline ever made you cry? Yeah. The Walking Dead by Telltale Games, the final episode of the first season. Also Metal Gear Solid 4. Maybe Mass Effect 3. What's your favourite fighting class? Warrior, Mage, Rogue, and why? So, I usually just stick with Warrior, because a lot of the other stuff like the Mage and Rogue and so on, it gets a bit more into technical stuff, especially if you're talking like RPG stuff. So, keep it simple, go with Warrior, you get a good balanced skills and points usually. So that's what I go for. What's your favourite game genre? So action adventure, RPG. I also like a good platformer. So yeah, but probably action adventure. Do you prefer multiplayer games or to go solo? I prefer to go solo. Multiplayer games aren't for me. Mainly because when I was growing up and playing games, a lot of my friends just didn't play games. So yeah. Do you prefer co-op or player versus player? So again, not a big multiplayer guy, so I suppose co-op. Gears of War, one of my favourite franchises on the Xbox. I love playing that in co-op. I love their multiplayer stuff. Also helps that I'm actually kind of good at Gears of War compared to most games. What is the first console you ever owned? I've already said this, it was the PlayStation. What or who got you into video games in the first place? Well, I was just a kid when the original PlayStation came out, and I remember my mum walked in and just gave it to me. I was under the impression that she gave it to my dad as a present, but no, it turns out it was me. So yeah, I suppose it was my mum. And yeah, been a gamer ever since. What is the longest amount of time you have sat playing games non-stop? So the problem is I struggle with headaches and eye strain. So right now the most I can play games is like 2-3 hours tops if I really pushed it. But in my younger days, I could totally have went like a full day playing a game. So I remember I used to be a big wrestling fan. I used to get the WWE games when they first came out. I spent ages in them games doing all the side stuff, getting the movesets just right and unlocking all the things, and yeah, a lot of fun. And yeah, when I was younger I used to play games way more than I do now. And I just wish I didn't have headaches. If video games didn't exist anymore, what would you do? So I've got a lot of interest in film and TV, so I'd probably just watch more film and TV shows. Yeah, not really that big a deal. Although I would be pretty annoyed if video games stopped existing. What is your favourite song from a game? So, favourite song from a game, I'm instantly brought to Metal Gear Solid. The dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. There's also the operatic theme that opens up that game. Very memorable. I'm not sure if it's my favourite though. I'm trying to think of some others. The Witcher 3 has a great soundtrack. I feel like I'm pointing out the same games over and over. I play a lot of games, but yeah, probably the Metal Gear Solid one's the one that comes straight into my mind. Celeste has a really good soundtrack as well. So, yeah, check that out. Have you ever wanted to live in a world from a game? If so, which one and why? So, I don't think I've ever wanted to live in a world with a game because most game worlds are pretty dangerous. And once you've been everywhere, once you've explored everywhere, there's not a lot going on in that world. So, no, I don't think I've ever wanted to live there. Maybe go in and experience it for like a couple of days or something, but I don't think I've ever wanted to live there. Though, let's see, the world of Mass Effect is fascinating to see all them aliens and the unique locations would be cool. There are areas in The Witcher 3 which I think would be great to live in. Good country areas and bright, colourful places. The land of Toussaint, for example. But no, I don't think I've ever wanted to live in the world of a game. Which video game character do you most wish you were like? So, right, which one do I most wish I was like? I'm trying to think of different games apart from Metal Gear Solid and Witcher 3. Nathan Drake is pretty cool in Uncharted games. Yeah, but he's also a mass murderer and a thief, so I'm not sure if I'd want to be that. But to get some of his coolness, his cockiness, that would be nice. Just avoid the criminal element of it all. What's the game you've spent the most amount of money on? So the most amount of money on... I'm not one for buying multiple versions of the same game. So the most amount of money I've ever spent on a game, you're probably talking something like a collector's edition. I've gotten the collector's edition of Gears of War 3, that cost quite a bit. Hitman, Absolution, I got that. But the Mass Effect 2, I got all the DLC for Mass Effect 2. But the problem is I got Mass Effect 2 after it was released, so it was already a reduced price. So chances are it doesn't add up to the most expensive thing. Hitman 2 in recent memory, that cost quite a bit. And yeah, so without going into examples, you're probably talking like £80 or something is probably the most I spent on a game, flat out. Not including like extra DLC and stuff. But yeah, I don't really know which one exactly would be the most. If you could have one power of any video game character, who would it be? That doesn't sound right. If you could have one power of any video game character, it should be, if you could have one power of any video game character, what would it be? So, the powers in Mass Effect are cool. Again, I don't want to talk about Mass Effect too much. So, let's see. Powers. A Jedi mind trick would be good. The Jedi mind trick in, of course, the Knights of the Old Republic games. In Hitman, you just have this power to be great at everything. So, for example, you can go into like Bangkok and be an expert drummer and an expert music producer. He's just got whatever power he needs for that situation. So that would be great if I could just go up to anything and say, yeah, I'm an expert at that, and hey, I am an expert at it. So that would be good to have. Yeah, that would be really useful. Who do you usually choose as your fighter in Super Smash Bros? Who do you usually choose as your fighter in Super Smash Bros. Or Soul Calibur? Well, here's the thing. I've never played either of those games. Yeah. Fighting game wise, I was always more of a Tekken guy, so Soul Calibur was like the opposite of that. Although I believe they were made by the same people. But Super Smash Bros. Again, Nintendo, not my strongest thing when it came to gaming. I missed out the whole NES and the N64. My first Nintendo console was the GameCube, but I barely used it because I wasn't familiar with Mario or Zelda at that point. And yeah, fighting games aren't really my cup of tea. So yeah, sorry, can't really answer that. Xbox or PlayStation? Choose one. Xbox. What are you hoping for at the next E3? Hopefully, we'll get another Splinter Cell. I've been hoping for Splinter Cell for a long time now, and it hasn't happened. It's looking doubtful. We are getting hints of stuff coming out now. There's the whole Splinter Cell VR that's being hinted at right now. So maybe that's going to be something, I don't know. But I'd like a good traditional Splinter Cell again. Also, I'd like to know what the hell Rocksteady's getting up to. They've been working on something for a long time now, and it seems they have been changing different games all over the place. There's one point they were doing a Justice League, one point Suicide Squad, then another Batman. I don't know what they're doing, but I reckon eventually we're going to have to find out. Who is your favourite villain from a video game and why? This is a simple one. It's Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid, and I'm talking Metal Gear Solid as the whole franchise. So I just think he's really cool, great voice. The fact that he is this old western cowboy with revolvers and he spins them around, yeah, just a brilliant, cool villain. And of course he's got layers to him as well. There are secrets that you end up delving into as the franchise goes on. So he's not just this on the surface cool guy. What is your favourite game from your childhood? Favourite game from my childhood. So, problem again, this is the problem. My childhood was the original PlayStation, so Metal Gear Solid came out on the original PlayStation. That was one where I was like, I played that and it's like, yeah, gaming is special. So it has to be Metal Gear Solid again. And I'm really sorry if I keep saying Metal Gear Solid and Witcher 3, but hey, that's how it goes. Are there any games you're really bad at? Oh yeah, a lot of games. Any first-person shooter. Call of Duty, Battlefield, I'm terrible at those. Halo, yeah, just not good at them at all. Any multiplayer games, really bad. Have you ever seen somebody get really angry when they lose? Yeah, it happens a lot. Sometimes, if I'm playing with someone, then I will get angry if I lose. But if it's just me on my own, I won't get angry. What's your favourite game series of all time? So, this is tough. Again, it's like, what's my favourite game? It's not The Witcher, because Witcher 2 was just okay, I thought. Metal Gear Solid, I think, has to get it. There's a bunch of great games in there. The other possibility would have to be Mass Effect, but then Mass Effect 1, I think, has problems. The combat's not good. Mass Effect 2, I think, is brilliant, and then Mass Effect 3 has problems, particularly with the ending. So yeah, it has to go Metal Gear Solid. What's more important, action or story? That's a tough one, because the story can be brilliant, but if the gameplay is terrible, you're going to struggle to get through there. At the same time, the story could be terrible and the gameplay could be brilliant, and that could be what really gets you into it. So, yeah, I don't think I can answer that. I do like a good story, I do like good characters. If there's a game, if the gameplay is flat out terrible to the point where it's broken, then yeah, I'm not going to be playing that, despite how good the story may or may not be. So, yeah, the gameplay is more important. It has to be at least workable. Is there a game that is considered to be really bad, but is your secret guilty pleasure? So, Alien Isolation got mixed reviews when it first came out. I really like that game. I do think it has problems. I think it's too long, for example, but that's a really good game, I think, and I think it got harshly reviewed. I think critics just weren't really, they didn't have their anticipation in check. They were expecting something that it wasn't. So, yeah, again, it got mixed reviews, not terrible reviews, but I don't really play many games that get really bad reception because, well, hell, I'm meant to be really bad. Why would I waste my time playing that? If you could have any video game character as your best friend, who would it be? I'm not sure. Yeah. My first thought would be Nathan Drake from Uncharted, but I think he would probably be really unreliable. So I don't think I'd pick him. There are a bunch of characters in Mass Effect, I would say, but I'm not going to say Mass Effect. Yeah, I'm blanking on this one. I don't know. Yeah, I can't answer that. Sorry. If you could marry any game character, who would it be? So, again, I don't want to say Mass Effect, but Mass Effect, Miranda from Mass Effect is coming straight to mind. Maybe Liara as well. Yeah, my initial thought is Miranda from Mass Effect 2. Again, I could say someone from The Witcher, but I don't want to. Yeah, that's my answer. I'm going to move on now. If you would you rather have loads of time to play games but only be able to buy 2 games a year? Or be able to buy loads of games but never have much time to play them? So this is probably the big thing that affects every gamer. How many games can you play? How many games can you afford? I imagine if you've only got so much time, you're probably getting a few games and not even finishing half of them. So if there were fewer games being released a year, totally I would get the 2 games and have loads of time to play them, as long as I like them. But I like games. There are a lot of games that come out. There are literally games coming out every day. So I'm a bit of a completionist, so I do like to finish the games. So probably the first one, as long as there were fewer games coming out. In your opinion, what is the worst game of all time that you've played? So again, I don't play too many bad games, but I remember Aliens Colonial Marines coming out. That game looked good, it was advertised pretty well, and then the game came out and it was awful. It just didn't work half the time. So probably that. One of the biggest regrets I've had in gaming. And of course, a big controversial thing as well, because I wasn't the only person who bought that game who thought it looked alright, and then it turns out it was absolutely garbage. So, yeah. Aliens Colonial Marines is the one that comes straight to mind. Would you give up video games for life and receive $500,000 in cash, or would you refuse the money? I'd probably refuse the money, to be honest. Yeah. $500,000 in cash. Obviously, dollars is different to pounds. I'm in the UK, so that's only like, trying to do the conversions, probably somewhere between 350, 400,000 pounds. Obviously, that's a lot of money, but again, video games mean a lot to me. I like video games a lot, so yeah, I'd give up the money. And that's all the questions, 50 questions. You can look them up yourself. I've left the address in the description down below. If you've liked this, subscribe to my channel. If not, well, let me know why, I suppose. Although I'd rather not know, to be honest. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. And like this, share it across social media. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @the_Grant_Burton. I'm sorry most of my answers were Mass Effect and Metal Gear Solid and Witcher 3. I've got them games on the mind for some reason. And until next time, thanks for watching.